So, full disclosure, I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this on the internet, but I'm about to use a legal drug called marijuana because I'm stressed. And after that, my channeling and tarot card stuff goes out the window because it's almost like the high level of hypervigilant anxiety that I have just naturally, even with I take medication for anxiety. That's what brings the channeling. And so I have Sun in Scorpio and the Pisces decan, so that's how I've chosen to deal with like these intense psychic moments. Is occasionally I will smoke pot. Sorry world, it's the cartridges, and I don't do it as much as I used to, but it sometimes takes the edge off. Anyway, but if you want to know, none of these readings have been done under the influence, like none of them, because I can't I don't have the desire to do them when I'm like relaxed from marijuana, and I don't have the I'm thinking about my own stuff if I have if I have that. And it's really a cyclical kind of interest where I'll go like 5 days without it, and then I'll become obsessed with it for 5 days. Anyway, so I'm just telling you that because if you ever see me on here and I'm like acting strange, it's rest assured there's no like drugs that have been taken. I make sure that I'm never channeling under any influence of anything because I want it to be raw and clear. Anyway, so this message is from my guides. It has no cards. I was guided to not use the cards because they're too distracting for this message and just use imagery for my mind. Let me settle the energy. Let's take a deep breath together, breathing in from the diaphragm. Hold it here and out. I feel like a lot of the things you've been dealing with in life are about comparison and disappointment, which came up in some of the other readings. I see all the readings that I do within the span of 2 days as one long reading. And then I like to take time off, and sometimes I take varying amounts of time off. But so in this like stretch of readings, that was like a big theme, like comparing yourself to others, even like the feeling of envy or like it's not fair, or they just have that because of this external reason. It's actually really important to pay attention to those feelings of envy and maybe even jealousy of what someone else has. Maybe it's like a career success, or like maybe it's a creative success, or even just a relationship, because I want you to know that you can have those things too. And you know, there may be people telling you that you're only like able to do a certain thing, and you may feel stressed in your life where you're like having to face some grim reality of like, you're like, oh, I'm this age and this is what I'm doing. I remember thinking that when I was like 23, so I've been very hard on myself my whole life. So I'm saying take some of the pressure off, because I feel like these setbacks, you're actually realizing some things about our culture, like that we're obsessed with fame. We're fame hungry, you know, we're recognition hungry, we are money hungry, and I think those exact things are things you're comparing. And also, of course, sex and love, we all want those things. And I think you're like looking at some other people and being like, damn, like I want that, why don't I have that? But those things are all coming to you. For some reason I'm being called to share the movie with Vanessa Kirby. I'll put the title below, but it's about her having a stillborn child. It's like A Woman Something. I forget. It's a great movie. She's like, I think a year younger than me, or maybe she's exactly my age or a year older than me. So I just always have followed her career. I just think she's a great actress. Subtle. She's very subtle. But this role was great because it's like the trauma of losing a child. But then in the end, during the court case, she's like, she goes and gets a picture during the break from this like dark room from this photographer of her child during the moment of its birth, and she realizes like she's punishing the midwife and like putting her under this like legal prowess for, you know, her own feelings of justification when it's like her daughter wouldn't want that. Anyway, so she goes on. The guy that she was with, Shia LaBeouf, is an addict, and he's like a horrible, abusive person. And actually, the mother pays, Ellen Bernstein, the mother, pays him to leave her, and she doesn't know this, but she just we see her years later in the end of the movie with a daughter who's like 5 years old, and it's like the message is like, and the daughter's climbing a tree, which I feel like is also symbolic. It's like the message is, you know, don't, oh sorry, when my guides come through I start to like talk weird. Don't discount these trials and errors as, you know, these are stepping stones along the path. One of my favorite, I'm like a TV nerd, okay, so I've of course seen all the like stereotypical TV and then all the like weirdy offbeat TV. I love television, but so of course I've seen like every episode of Friends, and Lisa Kudrow's I loved that show where she was a fake therapist. I don't know if anyone saw it. It was like not that well received, but I freaking loved it. It was called, I forget what it's called. I think it was just called Web Therapy or something. Anyway, she's a great actress. She's hilarious. And she got fired from Cheers right before she got Friends. Can you imagine if she had been on Cheers? What a different life trajectory and life path. And she wouldn't have had those relationships with, like, I guess the cast. They're all like obsessed with each other and love each other like family, and sounds like they all come from kind of broken families. So she wouldn't have had that. She wouldn't have just, Friends is such a great show, and Phoebe's such a pivotal character. Without her, what would Friends be? It'd be like broken. There wouldn't be that like spaced out funny character. So I'm saying sometimes things don't work out, and then we're like, oh, I wasted my time. But it's not a waste. Some people spend 20 years in a toxic marriage or something, you know? It's not a waste. You can always start again. You can always start fresh, beginner's mind. Okay? And don't do that to yourself. Don't beat up coulda, shoulda, woulda. You were at where you were at then, and now you're in a different place. Okay? I'm seeing like a change of identity. You were this way, and now you're this way. And you're now empowered, and you're like, God, why did I let these people walk all over me? I'm not sure who. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a job. And it's like, just let that go, man. Like, that's the past. Gotta live in the now. I snap because I want you to, in Zen, they have a gong. And Zen, like, places where people go, like monasteries, they take in, you know, people who want to study Zen. Like novices who want to study Zen. And they'll say, you want to come live with us? And part of the thing is in the mornings, there's a gong. And it's supposed to be like, hello, presence, wake up. Get out of this monkey mind. Oh my God, I have to do this. Oh my God, what about that? Oh my God, what's in the future? Oh my God, the past. No. Right now. This is what there is. That stuff is all gone. It's dissolved. It's disappeared. Okay, the past. It's not happening. So I want you to think of a new you. I'm also being called to talk about just how the body regenerates itself completely with every 7 years. So if we have chronic disease, it's being maintained over and over within our bodies. But like, you know, 7 is also a number of mystery and magic. This relates to Neptune. I think that there's magic in your life coming for you that if you're just open to it, you'll be like taken on a path. You know, one time, I want to share more details about my life because I've had some crazy stuff happen. One time I was living in New York City. This is years ago. I was in my 20s. I truly had no money. I was like staying, I think, just at a friend's house. I don't think I was even had my own place. And I was living off of like, I think I worked at a friend's like pretzel shop, like for nothing. And I just really had no like plan or no idea what I was gonna do. And I went to Central Park and I lay and meditated for like an hour on one of the glacier rocks. And then I just got this random call. I was like, I give up. Like, I truly give up. And I got this random call out of nowhere for this, like, I guess care.com, because I used to babysit. It was like some people who had found my profile on there, and they were like, we need elder care like immediately for tonight and tomorrow, and it pays like $100 a night, and we'll pay you like the day of. Can you do it? And I was like, yes. And it was like, I mean, it didn't change my whole life, but it was great to have that cash. So I'm seeing something like that for you. And then I'm also seeing bigger changes, and I'm seeing like less of a struggle and some acceptance of like some of the people you're comparing yourself to. Like, they've had advantages that you didn't have, and you know, instead of, it would be great to be recognized, yes, and to get some money and to get that great relationship. That's great. But Abraham Hicks says to be happy now. And that's my main jam, is Abraham Hicks. If you don't know, I love Abraham Hicks. And if we can find that satisfaction now, it's not about like giving up, like I said I did in Central Park, which it's about releasing resistance. It's like, okay, this is what life is right now. One of my favorite affirmations is, this is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice in it. Which is like, F you circumstances, I'm going to smile, I'm going to live, I'm going to have joy. And I think actually those people that you're comparing yourself, it's not the worst thing to feel these envious feelings, which I feel like maybe you had not connected with for a long time. Because I think it's actually pushing you to see what you want. Maybe you're not going to be some famous person or whatever, like you're comparing yourself to, but maybe you hone in on that, focus on that thing that person's famous for, and start to really put yourself out there in some different ways, you know? Whereas before, I think maybe you were like, I'm just not going to try because there's no point in a lot of things. Like, I'm seeing someone who's maybe very talented, the person I'm talking to, and you maybe have been holding back some of that talent because you were like, well, there's not an audience for it. I just wouldn't discount that. And I would get out there, whatever it is that your trade or craft or skill or interest is, present it to others somehow. Maybe it's just a small group of friends. You know, I used to have a friend whose boyfriend would just read us his poems because he wanted feedback, and we would just sit there and listen. It could be something like that, you know? Do the thing that you're envious of and put it out there, is what I'm saying. And then I'm seeing a Jenga castle. You ever play that game? It's from my generation. It's like there's these little blocks, and you build this like structure and see how high it can get, and you put the blocks through the slots, and it's sort of like everyone has to, you know, work together because you don't want it to fall down. Instead of the trepidatiousness of that game, I'm thinking more of how cool it is to like bit by bit build something. And that's what I'm seeing for you, that you may not see the answer right now, you may not see the path right now, but just find a couple like blocks and like make a foundation. Okay, like, you know, if you've ever been hiking in the woods and you see like an old foundation of a house, that's what I want you to make right now. You're just making the basement level for something, some goal or dream. And it's, again, Abraham Hicks always says, like, people get frustrated because they're like, well, I'm not where I want to be. But it's like, you have to trust that if you put it out there and make some action steps that are guided by spirit, not by effort or frustration or desperation, if you make some, these steps will feel easy. These steps will feel logical. They will feel like the next right thing. You will be guided to do these steps. If you do that, you know, there's just no, sorry, the reading is leaving me because my guides are bored with me. Oh, I just saw a bunch of ducks on someone's dashboard, which has been kept coming up in my readings and represents new life. I think that if you're able to let go of trying to force a square peg into a round hole, that your life is going to improve a lot. And I think that just like don't, what's I gonna say? Don't fixate so much. Like, some of the anxiety you're feeling is about this empty space, because I think that there's been some things that have left your life and you're like, well, how is that gonna be filled up again? I was gonna say, in Abraham Hicks, they say, well, I want to go to Phoenix, but I'm in Yuma. You can't close your eyes and just imagine and snap your fingers and be there. You have to get on the train. You have to go to Yuma. I'm not saying like get on a train and go to Yuma or whatever, Phoenix, Yuma, whatever location, whatever, which way. I'm saying you have to trust that like you're gonna get there and not be so like discouraged. I'm feeling someone very discouraged that, you know, just keep on going is what I'm saying. Don't like have these thoughts like I'm never gonna get what I want. Don't think like that. And if anyone says that to you, don't listen to them. You know, when we're manifesting and creating, we want to keep those actually really close to the chest because we don't want other people's negative energy getting in. As the reading's leaving me, I just want to tell you, there's going to be some signs for you that you are on the right path in the next couple weeks, like some very specific signs that will make you feel less lost. And I'm not so much seeing that you're going to have this horrible life. I think actually these envious feelings of people that you're like, man, I wish I had a house like that. Man, I wish I had a career like that. Or like, maybe you're like comparing yourself to someone like really successful and you're like, how? Like maybe like some famous person. And that's inspiring, you know? So I'm not discounting that these things can't happen. I mean, one singer that I enjoy is the girl from Tedeschi Trucks Band, and she's like in her 50s, and I don't think they came to prominence until the last couple of years. And like, I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm saying like she's freaking gifted, and like she was like, I'm raising my kids right now before, and now she's like, oh, my kids are grown, I'm going on tour. You know what I'm saying? Like there's time in life. Don't give up on your dreams. There's a musician, Lonnie Holly, who was like homeless for a long time and makes like street art out of trash. I don't know what his situation is now, but he became like a really well-known musician. I think he just recorded things on his phone, and people got really into this sort of raw stuff. He wasn't thinking I'm gonna be famous. He was like, this sucks. I need to create some art here. So I'm not seeing actually that you're gonna be in this situation where you are, which feels stuck, compare and contrast, can't get ahead. I'm not saying that you're gonna be in this for too long, because I think you're gonna have some idea that's gonna like circumvent all of that. Like it's gonna like, you're gonna like be like, okay, here's the structure, and I'm gonna like find you're gonna find a loophole outside of that structure that you're in, okay? And it's gonna be shown to you by spirit, and I really recommend meditating. And the signs that you see, I think they're gonna have to do with ducks. I'm sorry, I'm just putting that out there. That's just what I'm feeling, what I'm being guided to tell you. If you see ducks at all this week, or I'm gonna be off now for a little bit because I've expended my energy super quickly, that is a sign that you are on the right path. You know, say you're at a store and you see a duck in the window, go into that store. Like maybe you don't even buy anything, but maybe there's someone in there that has some interesting conversation tidbit for you. And just follow your intuition. Always. Your intuition always tells you. One of the biggest problems in life is not following our intuition. A lot of times we're trained, especially as women, to be gaslit and not follow what we know. That's where we get into biggest trouble. Always follow your gut about people, follow your gut about situations, and always trust that spirit has your back. Even when the dark things come, it's for your own growth and your own betterment of your life and your own empowerment.